This episode of the Long Run Podcast is sponsored by Skechers. Good evening, everybody. I was just checking my phone, so it caught me out, Tobe. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the greatest show on earth. You are going to be entertained for the next 59 minutes of your beautiful lives. The one life that you get on this amazing planet that we call Earth. Yes, for the next 59 minutes, you're going to have the most fun that you can listening to this, which is us talking about running. Now, I've got an amazing team with me tonight because we're recording two podcasts today. We're doing this one live and then we're doing a pre-record, which I'll come on to a little bit later. So we've got some absolute nutters in the house tonight. We've got admin, Sabrina, say hello to the audience.
Hello.
To the 10,000 people that are watching this live. Wilco's in the house. Wilco, say hello.
Hello.
And for all you people who have been messaging me, commenting on the videos, hitting me up on Instagram. He's here in the house. Everyone's favourite goat. Speed Goat's in the house. Let's give him a round of applause. Wow. Yes, he is alive and he has been doing some running. Also, for those who've been asking where Simon is, because he's not been in any of the videos, no, he's not dead. He wasn't killed by the organisers from the Cambridge Half. He is still alive. He's been enlarging it on holiday, but he is back. So he will be at the London Landmarks Half Marathon. So for anybody who wants to contribute to the rating system that he has devised for this country that we live in, he will be there on Sunday. Probably a bit ruined because he's been eating for the last 2 weeks. Now, team, a couple of big things we're going to be discussing tonight. We're going to be talking about the Brighton and the Paris Marathon. I do have a quiz for the team, which they're not aware of. We're going to be talking about wave starts and starts in general. We're then going to be talking amongst some of the other stuff that's going on this weekend, but we are going to touch also on tapering. Now, I appreciate some of you are going big this weekend, maybe in Brighton or Paris. But for some of you who are doing Manchester, some of you who are doing London, we thought we'd touch a little bit on tapering tonight as well. So if you've got any questions, if you're tuning in live, get in the comments, okay? Get in the chats, get involved. If you just had your race number come through for London, tell us what it is. If you've got your wave starts, check your emails. That's all just dropped, and I'll come on to mine in just a second. So get in the chat. Now, if you're listening to this as a podcast, thank you very much. This is sponsored by Skechers. Get over to skechers.co.uk. We really appreciate their support. And if you can't find what you need at Skechers, then get over to Start Fitness and use the code FORDY runs. You're going to get 10% off there. You're welcome. Okay, right. I think that's it. Oh, firstly, I've also got to do a bit of admin. If you've renewed or renewing your club membership, we need you to do that. Just to give a little heads up, you all broke England Athletics this week, their system, just so you all know. So just please be patient with the team. They're volunteers. And if you have not received something or you need to receive something, you're expecting something regarding the club renewal process, just drop them an email. club@fordyruns.com. It's as easy as that, okay? I appreciate that it's not gone smoothly, but that's basically because you lot, you all crashed it. So you've only got yourselves to blame for wanting to be part of this amazing family. Admin, have you renewed your affiliation?
I actually did it as soon as it came through.
Good girl. And was it an easy process?
I think I just clicked one button and paid.
Yes.
It was a simple.
Wilco, have you done yours?
Yeah, I've turned down various big money offers from other athletics clubs, during the transfer window. And I've renewed I've extended my contract for another 12 months.
Oh, that's good news. Spigo, one word, yes or no? Yes, no, yes. Have you renewed?
I did.
And that will now inspire the other 150,000 people that are yet to take up their membership. We are the biggest club in the country. They will now join because Spigo's here. Spigo, could you do me the honours tonight? Can I put you in charge of keeping an eye on the questions for me?
Oh, well, as long as you don't really want me to monitor them.
No, I mean, just keep an eye on them.
Yeah, okay. I'll let you know when there's a question.
Okay, that's brilliant.
Okay.
Can I do one thing actually before you This is actually really important.
How important is it? More important than my wave and number?
Yes.
Way more important.
Is it more important than the quiz I'm about to do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is actually talking about another reason why you should join this club, because I saw something which I actually sent to you the other night, but I did just want to mention these guys. Adam Drew put a post up the other day, and Sam Kirchin, who we've spoken about in here and has gone through a pretty tough, and horrific time recently, did something really kind this week and sent him a watch. And I read that post and I just thought, these people have never even met each other, and people that have connected through this community have never met each other in real life, and managing to find mutual connections and do really, really kind things. And I think it just goes to show that this is more than just signing up for a club and going for a run. And so I just want to say that to both of them, who just show utter kindness, compassion and humanity in really tough times, I just wanted to touch on that and say this is more than just running and signing up for getting a race discount. So
Very much, yeah, I echo that as well. And
that was important.
No, it was. It's more important than any of my rubbish aren't coming up. Yes, Tobe?
There's been a question. This one's
No,
really
not
important.
yet. We're not doing questions
No,
yet.
this one's really important. Does the membership cover cycling?
No, we don't. Actually, at 40 Runs Running Club, we ban biking.
It's a good job it's cycling, not biking.
No, it's just category. It's the same
Biking.
thing.
It's basically running on pedals, isn't it?
No, it's not.
So effectively, he's running.
No, you're sitting on top of something that's hurting, and you're being an idiot.
I'm good at those.
Yeah, it's true. That's why I tell you it sells biking. Anyway, look. If you've not checked out the podcast with Adele, listen to that. And if you've not checked, if you're doing a marathon this weekend, next weekend, the weekend after, because of you lot, I recorded a 20-minute piece of inspiration, motivation, and basically a kick up the butt for mile 20. Okay. That was made for you. I did it. It's out. We've had some lovely stuff said about it. So make sure you go and listen to that at mile 20. Don't listen to it beforehand.
Oh, I've done it. I'll listen to it now.
Well, okay. Out of 10, rate it. It better be nice.
Rate it.
But don't give it away, because some people are holding this for the weekend.
Look, it's not the last season of Game of Thrones, is it? It's I can't give anything away. It was good. Excellent.
Out of 10?
Out of 10?
12?
Oh, 12. No. Out of 10 is out of 10. And I never give 10 for anything. So I would give it a 9.
Okay, that's good from Wilco. Thank you very much, Wilco. Okay, right. So, again, evening, everybody. Thanks very much. Get in the comments, get in the chats. Somebody else just gave it a 10, by the way, Wilco. You left.
They're welcome to.
Right. So, firstly, I've got a quiz for the gang. And then we're going to move into, the important stuff. What episode... Toby, you're not allowed to cheat, by the way. What episode do you think this is? Number podcast that we're on.
So that includes Mondays as well.
Wilco, you first. Yeah. Cumulative. That includes the pre-records as well.
200.
200. Okay. Admin?
I think it's more than that.
Be fair. It's a good quiz, isn't it, Toby?
It's one of your better ones. Not hard.
241.
Okay. Speak up.
275.
222. Not bad, you lot. That was not too bad. Yeah, 222, Ron. That's not too shabby.
Well, we're about 2 months away from the first one because we did it in the middle of the Euros. I said, we can't launch it when England are playing Scotland. And he said, yeah, of course we can. And we did.
What could possibly go wrong? 18 awards later. Biggest podcast in Malta. You're welcome. Right. I've just been given my wave. So the reason I want to mention it, if you're listening to this and you're doing London, check your emails, because today they put out the numbers. They also just done the event guide, which has got my wave. So I'm wave 2, yellow. So I'm basically starting the race. You're welcome. I'm going to be like a hero straight through there. So have a look at your emails. That's the reason I want to mention it. We're getting to that time of the year with all the stuff coming out. I'm going to talk about Brighton in just a sec, but if you've not checked it, check your email. Hayden's not done it. His PA's not out there or something. He's flown his butler out, not his PA, out with him to Prague. So we're waiting to hear about that. So yes, I would definitely recommend you checking your email to get your wave and your number. Okay, so that's a bit of that. Right, so a busy weekend this weekend, guys, and I'm talking everywhere. The Facebook group's going to be mental. Did you realize? Oh, that's another quiz, Tobe. Another quiz coming your way. Let us know in the comments. You can play along to this one. In the last 28 days, actually, admin, I might have told you this. In the last 28 days, how many comments do you think we've had in the Facebook group?
I think you've told me, so I'm going to let you go.
Stand down.
God, I wouldn't know where to start.
It's bigger than you think.
5,000.
Don't give him any help. The loser has to stand up and take their top off.
Look at them both now silent.
That really would be explicit content, wouldn't it? We'd
Come
have
on,
to do
Bill.
something
Have a guess.
5,000.
How many?
5,000.
Okay, 5,000. So, are you higher or lower? See what I'm going.
I think it's a bit lower. I was going to 2,000, high 2,000s.
So you think 2,000 comments?
High 2,000s.
Huh?
High 2,000s.
High 2,000.
Like 2,874 to be roughly.
Okay. 2,000 for Music Runner. Okay. In the last 28 days, there's been nearly 15,000 comments. That's a lot of time on Facebook, you lot. Have a look at your screen times, okay?
Yeah. Do some
It's
work.
a lot of comments. Think about it, 14,000. It's like mental, isn't it? So this weekend, I reckon there's going to be that many because just off the top of my head, we've got Brighton Marathon, Paris Marathon, London Landmarks half. You've got the Prague half, which is part of the super halves. You've got the Berlin half, which has got record numbers as well this weekend. Is there any others that I missed? I'm sure there's millions of other races.
Well,
but
you've got to make a special effort, like I have, to manage not to actually enter a race this weekend.
So
I don't know how I've done it.
I think this weekend is going to be off the charts in terms of engagement in 40 runs, but just in general. So if you're doing any of those events, let us know in the comments. We will go through them in a minute. But Wilco, am I right or wrong? Have you done Brighton?
No, I haven't.
You have not done Brighton.
None
of us have done Brighton. Is there a particular reason, and I kind of knew the answer, by the way, that none of us have done the Brighton half? Wilco?
Not at the moment. It's not one that I've sort of like got round to. Obviously, the thing about Brighton for me would be where it is in the calendar. Obviously, it's the first. It's the first one. So if you're training, then it's April the 8th, isn't it?
Something like that.
So you're going to be starting in sort of like the first week in December. Starting your training plan and things like that. And I think that's probably what's put me off from a sort of like a weather perspective. But it is. I know it gets it's had a bit of a bad press. We had the one when it was the ultra and it went on a bit longer than everybody anticipated. But I wouldn't rule it out. But it's not one that I've actually done at the moment.
I thought that's a great comment from Lindsay. Garmin won't be working this weekend. Strava and Garmin are going to go down this weekend. 100%, right? Toby, what's the reason you've not done Brighton? Apart from the fact you don't do running much, really.
I don't do a lot of running, basically.
If there was chocolate oranges down there, would you do it? Look at him, look. He's obsessed with chocolate. You should, again, like biking, it should be banned. Toad does everything that should be banned. Look, chocolate mini eggs. But they're orange chocolate mini eggs.
I don't know what the other packet is, actually.
So focus.
Oh, yeah. White chocolate as well. Anyway.
But orange white.
They're all orange, yeah. Every one of them is
not
orange.
right. It should be
They
banned.
also do a pot of like Cadbury's orange yogurt thing now.
Disgusting. So why have you not bothered to do Brighton?
Oh, back to that, are we? I don't know. It's never really appealed to me. I mean, I've heard plenty of feedback about an industrial estate and a power station.
They've changed your route, though, haven't they?
Well, apparently they have, but I haven't really looked into it. I don't know. It just hasn't really appealed to me. It's kind of one of the bigger ones, but not a big one, if that makes sense. And then you've got to get down there. And my mates ain't done it, so.
There is that. Admin?
There's nothing appealing about it. I've heard no good news about
it.
Ever. Like, everyone...
For all these people who came down here this weekend.
That's doing it. I'm sure you'll have a lovely time.
It's going to
be really sunny.
Of course it's terrible. You're just going to be murdered to get there. But apart from that, have a great time. Oh, and you've got to run 26.2 miles.
Yeah, but apparently you've got to pick up your number the day before. It's awful. It's really expensive to stay down there. You run around a power station. We all know how I felt about the manor house at Cambridge. So the power station's not going to be any better, is it? So there's no appeal at all.
And if you stay over till Monday, the trains are on strike.
Well then, pointless.
Okay, so we've just really sorry if you're doing Brighton this weekend. A bit of a day. They probably all tuned in to get motivated. Yes, Toby, better not be about.
No. I was just thinking we could probably sack Simon and just bring in Sabrina now.
Yeah, but I like this. They now correcting
Wow.
everybody. They send the numbers out now.
Well, there we go.
So-
Maybe there's a.
So that's an interesting point. Hang on, hold tight. Man of the people. If they can do that for Brighton, why are they making me go to the XL still and get every disease that everybody's got in that XL hall on next week or week after?
Because you've got to buy some took.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How again, if they can do that. Oh, by the way, you're getting corrected again, Admin.
That's all right.
Yeah.
But why can't London Marathon events send me my London Marathon number?
Because they
I
want
just,
to spend a load of money.
yeah, but I ain't going to spend nothing. I'm going to go around there purposely and going, I'm not spending any money here with you. I'm not spending any money here with you. I'm going to go around every store tell them that I'm deliberately not spending money here.
But not everyone's like you.
Yeah.
There is true. That is true. And
But
lucky,
do you think?
that's a good thing.
Do you think though is that actually by taking you there and getting the sponsorship of the brands at the expo, because effectively they're all paying to be there, right? To be
No,
in
they
front of
are.
all
I've got the
people.
cost. Do you want to know the cost, Tobe?
Yeah, but hold on. You're interrupting my point. We can get to that in a minute. But you
Actually,
think that,
I probably shouldn't give that out. I might get
yeah,
ridiculed off
let's
of that.
skip over that. Yeah,
But it's
do you
a lot
think
of money. So
That
it's a lot of money.
that could be why the cost of entry into London is so cheap compared to other.
What do you
because
mean?
the amount of money that they get from the expo or whatever it's called now, runningshow.com, because the money they get from there, that's how they're able to keep the price down.
Well, effectively, they're getting more income, aren't they? So if you think about other marathons that don't do expos, they won't get that additional income.
Yeah,
So
but
when we say
Berlin does
actually London's
expo.
quite
It's
cheap.
about $3,000. New York does expo.
Yeah, I'm talking in the UK though. So
Yeah,
like
but now
Brighton doesn't do an expo, right? And they're probably about the similar price, if not more, than London Marathon.
Really?
Yeah, but it's the same company.
But yeah, but without the expo,
And
Then they
also,
post
you've got
that.
the expo, like Berlin, New York, and all those sort of people. It's your marketing gimmick, isn't it? It's all them clowns, all the people who sort of like, I've got to have the 6 badges. Oh, there's another one. They've all gone to Prague this week.
That's brilliant. Keep going.
They've all gone to Prague this week because some marketing man's told them they've got to collect all these medals
Oh,
and
he's
get the
going.
set
This is
and all
brilliant.
that sort of thing.
This is brilliant.
Yeah.
So, Wilco, Hayden, next time you see Wilco, can you apologise to Wilco? You've upset him, Hayden, about your 6-star, whatever it
No,
was.
it's up to anybody, but that's the reason. It's the
Can I
reason
just
because
say-
people keep going back and they keep lining the pockets of the marketeers because some bloke in a big office
such a
thought
cynic.
we can get loads of money out of these people for doing
it's
all these
brilliant.
things.
Look what
This
you
is what I
started
do for a
at.
living, Wilco.
Uh-huh.
I said, this is what I do for a living, marketing. Don't hammer it. But we're 17 minutes in, and I think we've probably upset half of the people listening.
No, hold tight. Hold a second. This is probably the first time I'm not upset anyone. It's you three. Be fair, Toad.
You've got a
I'm going
point.
to have a debrief with you. Right, look, because there's been some nice comments actually about Brighton.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. I would say that I would actually like to do it. Yeah, no, I would.
Why?
I think why would I like to do it? Because I'd like to understand why all these people go there and do it. Because there must be something that I have been there and done spectating, and I've got, down there and added some real value down there, as you'd expect, Hope. But when I was down there, it didn't appeal to me because it was an absolute pain in the rear end to get to. As you say, it was an arm and a leg, organisation seemed poor, and it just didn't seem all that. That was a few years ago, and now London Marathon events have taken it over. I would be interested excuse me, in doing it to see what it's like, because there must be something about it that people go and do it. Now, I appreciate that a lot of people do it because they don't get into London ballot and stuff like that. But I think I would actually like to do it to see what it is, and then to be able to actually turn around and go, no, this is complete pony, and then be able to sit here and say that it's complete pony. But after doing it, yes, Wilco.
Yeah, I feel the same. I'd be interested to hear what people's feedback is in this year, and because I mean, joking aside, I've just had a go at everybody and
Mainly Hayden.
No, but I just think I like to judge things on I like to judge things for myself, and I like to go and do things and then form my own opinion. And I would be interested to hear if if you don't have to go to an expo, you don't have to go to Brighton the day before, or you can go down there at 6 o'clock on a Saturday night before you do your run or something like that. Then I'd be interested to hear how it goes, because I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. I just think it's worth doing these things. It's like I'm going to Manchester next week, right? I'm going to Manchester. I put off doing it a few years because of COVID and all this sort of stuff, right? But I'm going up there to see what the vibe's like, because I've seen like YouTube videos about it, and some of the places look like dull as dishwater support and things like that. And you might as well just run Chelmsford. But they've thrown a lot of money at it, right? They've now got Adidas on board as well. I'm interested to see what the vibe is like. So I'm going up there to see whether I fancy doing it, basically. And I would like to do the same at Brighton. Let's see. I mean, who knows, right? By the way, if you are doing Manchester Marathon, I'm going to be with my assistant in the finishing bit, interviewing people. So if you see me with a microphone, come and talk to me and my assistant, who I can't name at the moment. So make sure you do that. Toby, we got any questions?
There's one about cycling earlier on.
No.
Mick's got one.
Yeah.
He's got a 10-mile race this Sunday, the last Sunday before Manchester. How should he approach it?
He's got a 10-mile race, did you say? I wasn't listening.
Yeah. Race this Sunday, which is the last Sunday before Manchester, which is next Sunday.
Yeah.
How should he approach this?
First 5 miles at target pace, second half easy. So start like it was the start of Manchester. Run the first decent warm up, get yourself, into your pace, whatever strategy you're going to put into play. And by the way, if you're running Manchester, London, tune into next week's podcast, because we've got some tips and strategy for you. But at the front, that race, I would do that. And to be honest with you, it doesn't matter if you're doing a race or you're doing Manchester, whatever, then I would do the same this weekend. Put a couple of miles in to start with at your target pace, and then go into easy. So you get that, fresh in your mind, but then you back off and the impact's low. Anything else, Toby, before we move into tapering?
This one from Penners. What's thought on sodium capsules during the marathon? I'm a salty sweater, so would these benefit, or will gels cover this?
I can't comment in terms of how I would find them. I know none of you three use them. What I can say is, from running with Ben and Simon, who both use them, they swear by them.
Yeah.
Ben got me on the salt sticks.
So you now want them as well?
Yeah, so I have them alongside gels. I might have, if I'm doing a half marathon, I might take a couple, sort of like in between my gel stops and things like that. And I find them really helpful. Ben, like we said, Ben swears by them, and he got them onto me because a year ago we were in Ibiza and it was hot, and I started taking them. But now I take them all the time, even if it's not particularly hot conditions. I still find them helpful, and they're pretty good. And you can get them from Holland and Barrett for a relatively cheap price, so they're easy.
Yeah, he takes one. I might be wrong. He might kill me, but I swear he takes one when I take a gel at 4 miles. So he'll take a salt tablet, and then he'll take his gel at 5. That's how Ben does it. He does, and I'm not saying that's right for everybody, okay? But from
what I've tended to be doing is sort of like just divided them up in the middle, so that I would take a gel at 5, take a salt stick at 7.5, take another gel at 10, take a salt stick, towards the end of a half. Or I've not done a marathon since I've started taking them, but I will be. I use them extensively in my long runs and all that, and I'll definitely be using them when I go to Leeds.
It's like anything, isn't it? It's like gels and everything, that you've got to work out what works for you. So ultimately, it's putting that into your long runs and going. But yeah, as you say, Ben and Simon both use them, and they do both sweat a lot, and they find the difference. So I would say give it a go.
Yeah, I would say, you go. Just try it out and see. Toby, is there anything else burning in the comments before we move on to tapering?
I think we can move on to tapering, and then we'll come back to some.
Do you want to remove that question because it's irritating me?
What, this one at the bottom?
Yeah, it's because
you can't see my head.
Do you want to move that?
I don't know how to do it, Toby. That's fair. Right, okay. So that's really irritating. That's actually more irritating than you not giving me a lift home. So the too much yourself. So we wanted to talk a little bit about tapering today. We're not going to go overboard because I appreciate some of you maybe listening to this and you're already like race days here, like some of you guys doing Brighton and Paris this weekend. Oh, that's another question. Yeah, I will come on to tapering. Do you fancy doing the Paris marathon, Abin?
I don't fancy doing any other marathon. I've done.
Oh, you're so boring. I'm going to change your name. So change your name to boring.com.
No,
Wilco,
it's not worth my while. You can do it
yeah,
if you
no.
want, but
Do
I'm
you
not.
fancy doing the Paris Marathon?
There's the one reason I'd like to do the Paris Marathon is I've never been to Paris. I'd quite enjoy that.
Bonjour.
The main reason why I probably wouldn't do the Paris Marathon is the need for a medical certificate to do races in France, which means that you would have to go to your doctor, you have to pay for it to get a certificate. And I would think that being as a great opportunity to run around the great city as it would be, it's just a bit too much faff for me, and that would really put me off.
Okay, fair enough. So,
I think I would. As you say, it is a bit of a pain. I know a lot of people have had issues trying to get medical certificates and all that sort of stuff, and insurance actually running abroad, which you don't really think of, but people take it as some kind of extreme sport. But yeah, I think I will. But it always clashes. It always clashes with stuff back here, isn't it? So you really got to go in your ballots and stuff, and then go. Actually, no, I'm going to go and do Paris because it sits all in the middle of everything.
all right, here's a question. Yeah, we will get on taping. So, well, I've got you. Paris or Brighton? Paris or Brighton? Brighton or Paris? Which one are you going for? You've got
Paris.
free entry, no doctor's certificate.
Paris.
I do the doctor's certificate because I'm qualified GP. Go.
Paris.
Paris. You would do Paris, would you?
Any day.
Wilco?
Yeah, if you got me a medical certificate, I'll do Paris.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 30 quid. Admin?
Paris.
Yeah, all day long.
Yeah.
So again, once again, you've all slated Brighton.
I'll do Brighton as well. I'll do, I'm quite happy to go to Brighton. I'll do
what's
Brighton.
the medical certificate? So hang on, does that just basically to say that you're fit and healthy, that you ain't got like
that you're
18 legs?
This is why this is what happened after the pandemic, that they introduced these in for all races, which is why park runs died in France, because people needed to have a certificate to say that they were fit enough to do the run.
What
So
to
that's
do?
why it's no. Yeah.
Sorry. So you can't go and run 5K, which I appreciate.
No, there's
a lot of people is a lot, right? I'm not
Yeah.
underplaying it, but it's a free community event at a distance which is deemed kind of acceptable, that people can walk. Yeah, achievable for people to walk or run or whatever. But in France, you need a medical.
Yeah, as I understand it, you need a medical certificate, which is why they don't have park runs in France anymore.
You need to fact check that, double check that, because we might have the lawyers on. Wilco.
No, right. As I understand it, don't worry, mate. I've got it all covered legally. I will check it.
So at least
that's what I understand.
Alf is saying Paris is the second biggest marathon participation in the world. I guess that's after New York, right?
Is it? It's massive.
I'm guessing. Is New York top? New York was like there's
Yeah,
about 100 million people there. So Andrew, about Amsterdam, when I did Amsterdam a couple of years ago, I didn't have any insurance to do it. I don't know whether that's changed. Yeah, Wilco?
I've just looked it up. Wikipedia say parkrun events in France were suspended from July 2002 due to legal issues regarding medical certification.
There you go. That's a shame, isn't it? Now, I could get really political, but I won't. We're going to talk about tapering.
Yeah.
See how I pivoted there, admin?
Yeah.
We got him under control. That was a massive sigh of relief in the bottom corner there, wasn't it?
What just made me think, though, like insurance for running abroad. I don't think I had any when I did Chicago. Toad, did you get some for Tokyo? Like special insurance?
He didn't run. He walked round Tokyo for 26.2 miles. The boy didn't run.
And still in sub 4. But
It's fine. I didn't, but it's one of those things to be careful with. Is that if you do get an injury or something running, is making sure your insurance will cover you for that.
There are some specific sports travel insurance companies that I've used when we've gone to Paphos, and I did a half in Lanzarote, took that as well. And when I did the Dublin Marathon, I was going away, that you can get a pretty reasonable rates that will cover you for marathons and half marathons. Well, I wouldn't run without it abroad.
I've never thought about it.
Me either, but now I feel
because if the worst comes to the worst, the expenses are horrendous.
Yeah, but over here we're covered by I am EA, right? Through my affiliation, I think that's
but we
got the NHS. Someone will put you in an ambulance and you'll get to hospital.
I don't think if it was Toby, he'd probably go backwards and then go forwards again and then go backwards again over me in the ambulance. But yeah, that's a good. I tell you what, that's actually some really good consumer advice there for once. I know a lot of people might have turned off after you hammered Brighton Marathon quite a lot.
I'll dig up the details of who I've used and I'll put it on the Facebook.
No,
page so people
Wilco, we don't do nothing for free anymore. We're too big. They have to pay
That's
6
sponsor.
figures.
Okay, well, I'll put it on my Facebook. It might not have the same. I didn't get 14,000 comments on my Facebook this
you
week.
not?
No, unfortunately
14. Think about it. That's a lot of typing, isn't it?
500 a day.
14,000 comments. 500 a day, did you say?
Yeah, 28 days, 14,000. Yeah, 500 a day.
Jesus Christ. That is so many comments, isn't it? Anyway, should we get back to tapering since we haven't talked about it yet?
Yeah, let's do that.
Well then,
So, look, if you've got absolutely no idea what we're talking about when we're saying about tapering, right? It's reducing your training volume and intensity leading up to the main event, let's call it, right? It allows your body to recover and effectively peak on race day. That's the idea, okay? Now, we always go into overtraining, undertraining, and all this sort of stuff, okay? But the long story short is that 2 to 3 weeks out, you start to reduce your mileage, okay? But you really want to be keeping some of that intensity. Not all of it, but some of it. People always go, oh, should I be doing this? Should I be doing like Mick earlier? And you try and second guess your tapering because you've been, training hard for 12, 13 weeks. And all of a sudden, everything becomes alien because you're not doing that. And your body's asking you to do that. Your mind's ready to do it. And you're in a state of, well, I don't know, confusion. And you're not sure about what you're doing. Normally, you'd be just fine. Now, you three have done marathons. Tobes walked one, famously. In terms of tapering, did you go 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or was there a specific period that you worked out was the best time for you in terms of a taper, admin?
3 weeks.
Why 3 weeks?
Just enough to give my body time to rest and recover. When I've done marathons, I found the training really grueling. Like I found it tough. And so I've always worked to that point of taper. And then I know that my body is going to kind of have some basically time to relax and time to come off the pedal just a bit. So not dropping everything. I think when I did it, when I was tapering, I was still doing, so if I was running 4 times a week, those first couple of weeks, I still did 4 runs, but less volume. So less amount of miles and probably less intense, especially on those long runs.
When you did Chicago and you PB'd, did you have a 3-week taper?
Yeah.
Okay. When you did your marathon before that, did you have a 3-week taper?
Yeah.
What was the difference?
More sleep and better food.
Okay.
So I think for me, the first time and the second time, I was so stressed about the whole thing. I mean, I learned that actually I'm never going to sleep the night before a marathon or even a couple of days before, because I know I'll feel anxious and I'll feel nervous and all of those things. But actually those few weeks before, making sure I was getting enough sleep, enough fluids. So just upping the water and eating better, like eating carbs in the nicest way from Friday and Saturday next week. Here he goes, drinking water.
I need a week.
Eating carbs 2 days before, yeah, is a great idea, but that's not going to change everything. So actually the whole week before, making sure I was getting enough chicken and fish and proteins and all of that kind of stuff was way more important. I was just better with it.
Wilco,
Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks or specific number of days?
My marathons have been 3 weeks. Don't do what I did before my first half marathon when I read about this taper thing. And I did nothing for 2 weeks. I thought,
Brilliant.
great. I'll put my feet up, watch the snooker for 2 weeks.
Legend.
So, that was a bit of an education. I think this year, I'm having to juggle my my diary a bit, because I've got into the situation where I'm going to be doing my last long run. It's got to a stage where either I can do it 3.5 weeks out, which is a bit long, or 2 weeks out, which would be a bit short. So
Why?
Well, because I've got other commitments. I can't do it particularly at the weekend, so that I'm going to have to do it in my day off during the week, which is the Wednesday before.
But this is the thing. I think a lot of you look at this the incorrect way. It's your peak mileage should be that week, not necessarily your longest run.
Right.
Yeah. That doesn't mean you can't do the longest run the week before. It's about peak mileage.
Yeah.
More than anything, or peak effort more than anything. It's not, a lot of people get fixated on, I've got my biggest, longest run. it's going to be 22 miles because it said it on the plan. No, actually look at it as a cumulative in terms of mileage, volume, intensity. You should peak that whole thing and then taper, not base it on one run. For example, I go around and I'll do plenty of 20-mile runs. My last long run is actually this weekend, if you want to call it like that, because I'm doing 30 miles. But I don't look at it as in like that's a last long run. I look at it as in terms of peak mileage for me. Other people peak effort, you know. It's not necessarily, don't get fixated on that long run. Look at it, because you could still do your highest volume in one of those weeks, Wilco.
And I will.
And the benefit of that, let's say you're 3 weeks out, you could still do, you don't necessarily need to go and do 20 miles to go and get your highest mileage of the whole block. You could do a lot of double runs and stuff like that.
And I've also got the week after, I've got sort of like a 13-miler schemed, and I can just do that a bit more intense than I anticipated, you know, that I was going to do.
Yeah, that is a bit of a myth about this, doing these big long runs. It's you need to get them in for confidence and, you know, time on feet and all that sort of stuff. But it should all be cumulative. Well,
Cumulative, yeah.
Very much. I'm here every night. Speaker, are you going to add any value on this?
I was actually checking up on my Strava from Amsterdam to have a look at what taper. So what actually happened on Amsterdam, if I look at it, is that in the 5 weeks before, I had a 5-mile week. Then I went up to a 28, down to a 12. Then I went up to a 19, and then it was marathon week.
And you ran what time?
3:44. So basically what happened is I think the maximum miles I did on any week on that training block was 30. And basically it kind of went up. It sort of plateaued for a bit, went down, and then went back up.
When you say plateaued, that's no mileage.
So it's basically like a reverse taper. You put more effort in on the lead up.
Yeah, so you did more in week 1 and 2 than you did the whole plan.
Well, I did that, but also did more the week before than I did in the previous 5 weeks.
So I don't even know why we asked.
It could work. It could work.
So if you want to go and run 3:44 Amsterdam, go back and look on top. I know you can't. You blocked everyone.
What about? Hold on. What did you do differently for Tokyo? Did you do? Because you went out a week early, didn't you?
Yeah, I went out a week early. When was that? Was that last year?
Yeah, March 23.
Just look up your longest walk.
For Tokyo then, right? So that one I did 28 miles on the week of that. The week before I did 4.2. The week before that I actually did a 40. The week before that 24, and the week before that 6.
So what did you run sub 4, wasn't it?
That was something like that. That was a well, when you say ran, I walked. I walked 3:55.
It makes a mockery of the whole thing.
Now he's not going to be able to do that when he's 50, is he?
Oh, I don't know. I think
you know, or is he just a freak?
As Tobe says, he's going to bring out a book, The Speed Goat Training Diet. And
I didn't look at the diet either. I don't even know what the diet was.
I guarantee it consisted of chocolate and orange
McDonald's
as well. Right, look, let's get back on track.
Hold on, there's something in this, because we all worry and panic so much about the miles and what we're doing. And Toby manages to run 4.2 miles 2 weeks before a marathon and still run a sub 4. So
that's what I'm saying to you.
It's life, isn't it? You just get on with life. You just deal with life, and you can just go and run it. Confidence.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying to you. It's just get on with it. Just cowboy up and get on with it. Right. Okay. So look, I think the thing is, if during the taper, the key is probably to focus, and you should do this kind of anyway, is to focus more on quality runs. Okay. Cut out some of the junk, right, that you may accidentally be doing, and shorten them, but make them better quality. Now, what do I mean by that? Have a purpose. Maybe do like a 20-minute interval session instead of like a full-blown speed session. Do a high-quality 20-minute interval session, something like that. instead of going out there and doing like a really slow, ponderous 60 minutes, because it's not really going to have any benefit. So it's more important to focus and get something out of a run that you're doing. Limit the impact, but focus on the quality. So less, again, go back to that intensity, a little bit more, maybe focus on the intensity and the quality than necessarily just going out and just doing volume for the sake of doing volume. Again, I appreciate that the brain works in an amazing way and it's telling you to go out and run and run and run. But what you're trying to do is avoid fatigue. Yeah, that's what you don't want to be doing. You don't want to go out and do sessions where you're basically knackering yourself out. Now, I appreciate 20 minutes of intervals sounds hard, right? But actually, you get more out of that than going and benefit from that than doing a long, slow 60 minutes, right? Where you didn't probably need to do it. Now, one sort of message for you all is not to cram anything in lastminute.com, like, Toad might be tempted to. You really do have to trust in the training that you've done. You are going to get days and moments where you're thinking, I should be out doing 16 miles this weekend. I should be doing this. I should be that. And you're trying to cram stuff in. It's totally natural to think to yourself over that 2-3 week period, whatever it is, that you should be doing more, or you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Don't cram anything in. You've done the hard work, okay? You've done everything that you needed to do during the marathon training block. Marathon training blocks, whether it's 16, 18, 20 weeks, whatever you've been working through, that process is there deliberately, okay, in terms of physiologically. Amin, help me out again.
Yeah, doing well.
Right. I'm doing well tonight, aren't I? It's because I had my therapy today. And it's because it's true. It's because it's true. It's because, you've had that period deliberately to train you to do this thing, right? You've got to get your taper right, because having a good taper will ultimately have a positive impact on race day. But you can actually really cock up your taper by cramming in stuff that you don't need to be doing. Like Tobe said, you can do 4 miles and go and run a marathon. It ain't going to make too much difference, all right? And that's from people who've run multiple marathons, okay? So, yes, Tobe.
I just want to add, but then you got to think about it. So you've got your running miles, but it's also what you generally do. Bit more so in the week before.
Are you talking about active jobs? Because I will I will run around and knock you out.
On the list.
No.
But it's that things that you can spend, especially on the the week and the days before. If you do a lot of walking and you have an active job, or you go sightseeing because you're in the middle of Tokyo or something like that, that's all going to build up and actually affect your taper.
Yeah, no, it's true, right?
Running up some stairs in Edinburgh the day before a marathon.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah,
racing to Edinburgh, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to beat your mates. That's not sensible.
That was not the brightest thing you did ever done.
No, I've had better ideas. I mean, I had a lot of brilliant ideas. That wasn't necessarily one of them. If you don't know what we're talking about, watch the video where we raced. Me and Si raced Speak Out and Admin to the Edinburgh Marathon. What's faster, a plane or a train? Check that video out. Absolutely pissed yourself laughing. Right. So last thing, because I do want to talk about something else before we finish. And there's quite a few questions as well in the time. And this is what actually Admin spoke about. And I do think it is something that people not necessarily neglect, but it really is critical in terms of sleep, hydration, good food, looking after yourself. Be selfish. Don't go to like a big exhibition hall to pick up a race number where you could get exposed to germs, for example. Make sure you do look after yourself. That's the key to this. Wrap yourself in cotton wool for 2 or 3 weeks. You've done such hard work. You really need to rest, hydrate. When I'm not saying rest like Wilco did for 2 weeks in front of the snooker, I'm saying just be sensible about it. Yes, Wilco.
I'm going on a golf holiday the week before my marathon.
Where are we going?
I'm going to Malaga.
No, where are we going?
We go. You can come if you like, mate. I'm sure we can. I've not got much of a luggage allowance, but thing. So obviously, I'm going to be away with a group of lads, and we're going to be playing golf. For 4 days before. I'm not too well. I've been very good with the beer during this rate. So, what sort of considerations would you have if you've got a clash in the diary like that? I think I know what I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to be all right and be sensible, and we'll have a buggy and stuff like that. So I won't be walking miles and miles. What sort of recommendation would you have for other people who might be in a similar sort of position?
Yeah, basically what I just said. I wouldn't cane it. I would like, if you can make decisions and be selfish and not necessarily put yourself into a situation like that. But I appreciate life's life, right? But if you can, like, do a Zoom meeting instead of going into London, and if you can book your holiday, you know, at a time where you probably need to be doing other things, then fine. But if you've got those, then yeah, don't cane it. don't necessarily get
my
on
experience. I think this is where Paphos came in quite handy, actually, because we went there.
We went absolutely mental.
We went for the weekend, and we did the run. We had a good time. We stayed up late. We drank a lot. We had a good time. But my training the week after I came back, I was sluggish, didn't really do much.
Yep. Ben
was feeling like that. And consequently, it was a bit of I had a brilliant time and I wouldn't change it for the world. Yeah. But it was a little bit of a wake-up call because I thought, well, I'm not going to be outbehaved like that in Malaga because it's race week the next week and I'm going to throw it all away. So that really helped me, like going away for that weekend, because I got it out of my system, and then I learned the lesson during a week where it didn't matter.
Do you think Ben's learnt from that this weekend? Do you think, like, for example,
by going to Prague a week before,
because he was absolutely on it last night, even though he's meant to be on his best behaviour? Do you think he's learnt from that or not?
I would think that he probably hasn't.
No, I don't think he has either. Okay, Toad, we've got quite a few questions. Let's load them up, big boy.
Yeah, I've been getting a new feature of pinning them. Look, it's brilliant.
Ooh, it's brilliant. Genius.
I don't know why I pinned that one though. That's got
4
nothing
miles
to do with being a question. So this is a bit personal, but how do you work out how many weeks to do a taper? Is it 3 or is it 2 before? I mean, personally, it's what works for you, isn't it? Really,
you get that from experience. That's something the chances are when you do your first marathon or half marathon, okay. And again, I must give apology out to everybody who thinks we're like marathon centric mentalists on this podcast. When we've cleared marathon season, right, we will be talking about other stuff. Just tell everybody, so you don't need to comment and write horrible things. Just write nice thing on the reviews. But we will be talking about other stuff, okay? But in terms of that, it's experience. Because if you're running your first marathon, right, chances are you'll get a plan off of like London Marathon website or, whatever, or use like whatever thingy app or whatever it's called. And that will be pre-planned in for you, which is a fair assumption. That's what most people do. Fair enough, Wilco? I mean, most people just go and get a plan, right? But I think as you gain experience, like doing, several of them, you'll then come to figure what works best for you. So I think it's a very personal thing in terms of playing around with stuff. It's Charlotte Landridge. Tune into next week's podcast. We would answer. Please can I have your top tips for a first marathon? That'll be in next week's podcast. Okay. But yeah, so I think that's the thing. That's the key to this, is very much a personal thing. Right, next one.
Thanks, man. So this is about so training. Could you do 10 miles back to back over a weekend? So 10 miles on a Saturday and a Sunday as a training run. Running on tired legs, Fetzy, is it going to help you?
What? Close to the marathon in the taper?
I think that came up when Wilco was saying he won't have time to do a really long run this week, and you were saying that
okay, yeah, split your mileage up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't do that in a taper personally. Again, it goes back to quality. You're looking for quality instead of volume. What's this?
Shakeout. So they're asking on the panel who likes to do a shakeout the day prior and who likes to just rest and not do any miles.
Admin?
Shakeout.
Why?
5K. Just gets my legs moving. Yeah. Okay. Gives you a bit of confidence that you're going to wake up the next day and your legs are going to be all right to move. You're going to go.
Wilco?
I haven't before any of my marathons, but I think I might this year, because I'm not going up to Leeds until lunchtime. So I think I might stay out, get a park run, just have a little bit of a trot round. I saw your video about tapering the other day, and you said, just do one that, and really slow, which for me would be sort of like more than 35-minute sort of park run. You know.
Yeah,
just
I aimed when
little
I
shot.
did park run once, and I think we all did actually. We aimed to do our slowest ever park run.
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying
That's
to
the
do.
sort of thing. Give yourself a challenge within it. Again, going back to looking for quality sessions, getting something out of it. We deliberately did we all tried to do our slowest ever park run.
Yeah,
So
walk a
fun.
bit and stuff like that. Just,
Yeah.
I think I'll do that. So this year, I think I will. But I enjoyed the shakeout before the Great North Run. That was brilliant.
Yeah, I was going to say the half marathon of marathon doesn't matter. I would say they're positive. I'd say shakeout runs, I would say, are going to get a bad name. I think they're a marketing ploy, and this is from somebody who's involved in doing them, right, and getting people along to them. I think they're going to get out of control. It's going to get awful. It's just going to be videographers for TikTok and Instagram trying to get content, and I think they're going to turn into an absolute marketing bumfest. And I can't. I'm sad to see where this goes. What I'd rather see is community events where it's real, it's true, and it's generally people just going, to get some miles in before they go and do their big event, because there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of uncertainty around certain things, and it's a good opportunity to meet other runners. I fear that they're going to be, and again, this is from me, who's involved in all this. Some of this is my own fault, but I just fear that they're going to get over marketed, and the actual essence of what they're about is going to get lost, because you're just going to go along so you can be seen on Instagram. And that's the only thing I find about it. I would recommend, if you don't come to one of ours, because we will always stay true, is to go parkrun. It's free. It's there. Get along to parkrun. Yes, Abby.
New York, actually.
Yes, ma'am.
Tokyo. Did they do, so in Chicago, you have that 5K bobble hat run the day before, which is brilliant. Very expensive, but it is.
Berlin, they have one of them.
Do they? So that's what I was going to ask. So New York and Tokyo, did they have them there as well? 5K, like a paid for event the day before.
Yeah, they have them.
They do. All right. I didn't know if it was everywhere or whether actually, because what you do see in a lot of the big cities is, yeah, you're right, influencers or brands putting on runs and then getting people into shops and stuff afterwards, which is fine if people want to go.
Again, yeah, I'm part of that, right?
Yeah.
So this is, me calling myself out here, right?
So yeah, I just didn't know, because that 5K that Toby came halfway across the world for was probably the best 5K run I've ever done. It was the most fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. If they're done well, if the shakeout is done well, do you know what I mean? And it is that honest, pure, community-based event. Now, I'm not talking about 40 rounds. I'm talking about just really nice people turning up, getting together, losing some of that anxiety and, all that kind of stuff, and just getting together and going for a run together, having some fun. I think really is an awesome, and it's a powerful thing if you're in a city where you don't know anybody, right? Yeah. But you watch London Marathon weekend on Saturday, it is going to be an absolute, I don't think a very good experience. I just think it's all about content. And I'm not a big fan of it. Hence, we are going to Southend-on-Sea for the weekend. We're going, you know what? You can take your shakeout runs in London. We're off to Southend, sunny Southend, to go and do a park run. And you're welcome to join us. It's free.
Have you just promised everyone sunshine in Southend?
Yes. I'll tell you an interesting fact. Toe, I know we've got a couple more questions. Driest place in the country. Toe, where is it?
Driest place in the country? Birmingham. I got no idea.
Genius. Wilco?
Is it Southend-on-Sea in Essex?
Close. Admin?
Norwich.
It's full of
know.
water.
It's so Southend.
Great Wakering.
Is it?
Where's that?
Southend.
Essex.
No, it is. Apparently, I might be wrong. It might have been updated since, but a few years ago, it's the driest place in the country.
Interesting.
So that's why it's a great place to do park run. Anyway, Toe, what we got left?
What we got left? We have got Thomas O'Connell. How many miles did you do marathon week?
Toby did 4.
4.2.
Well, no, he did. No, he did 26 point. He did the 26.2 at the end of marathon week.
Thank you, Wilco. So,
let's give it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is personal, isn't it? Again, it's down to your taper and what works for you. You'll kind of learn it along the way. But I'll drop it right down.
Abby?
I'm trying to remember. I think I did before Chicago 3 5Ks that week. One on a Saturday, one on maybe the Monday and the Wednesday before I flew. That was it.
Wilco?
Yeah, 12 to 15 probably.
Yeah, I'll be about so. I'll do 3 miles on the Saturday. Again, down in Southend, you're welcome to join me. And I'll probably do 2-3 milers in the week. It depends how to be honest with you, a lot of it depends how I feel. I will do a lot of it based on how I'm feeling at the time. I was sick for a week, hence I'm doing a 2-week taper this time. I'm going to do 40 miles this week. So I'll then drop it right down, but I'll focus again on quality over mileage.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit of I adapt, and this is only get this really from experience. I know my body, I know where I'm at, I know where my headspace is. If I need a kick up the butt, I might go out and do something, a little bit longer, maybe, 6 miles, whatever.
So do you leave it sort of a bit open ended? Just sort of like, oh, it's how you feel in the morning, when you get up. Do I feel like going out? Well, I don't need to do it, but if I don't do it today, I'll have to go tomorrow, sort of thing like that.
I'll have a rough idea what I want to do. Don't forget I'm coaching and doing sessions and things like that. So, I'll plan accordingly. But yeah, I genuinely try and see how I'm feeling, and I will keep my legs ticking over. And if I need a bit of a speed burst, I'll chuck one in. If I feel like instead of that, I could probably do with a decent, 30, 45 minutes of target pace, I'll go and do that. So I'm unrestricted on what I want to do. But at the same time, I won't be going out and running 30 miles or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's, for me, the key is understanding my own self now. I'm at that stage where I'm still playing around. I'm using this training block for London as a sort of blueprint for what works and what doesn't work for Berlin, because Berlin's my target race of the year.
I think that's really key. That I'm finding that now, because now Leeds will be my 5th marathon. So this time I've drawn up my own plan because I've got a rough idea what I need to do on each day and stuff like that. And it's a learning process. You do that, and then you come out of it and you evaluate what went well, what didn't, and stuff like that. And then you look at, because before, like this year, I've got a lot more target pace and things like that in my plan, because that's something that in the past I've neglected. And I think, well, maybe that'll give me a lift. I'm not drinking. I've hardly had a drink for the whole plan. I've cut down on my alcohol, things like that. And I've this year I've really given it sort of like got my head down and thought, this is the important thing, and see how it goes.
Yeah, no, I mate, you're right. It's all of that, but it's such a personal thing. This is, and I'm not deliberately doing this to be antagonistic. That's the thing that gets diluted when you're pulling, when you're following an app or something like that. You know what I mean? You lose that feel, which is so key to training for these endurance-based events. Again, not necessarily just for marathons. And it could be the same for Catch the 5K. You're going to Catch the 5K. You're following the app, and after week 3, you want to go out and you feel like you could run 10K, feel like an absolute hero, and you want to run every day. You've got to understand and listen to where you're at, and know yourself where you're at, and you get a lot of that again through experience, and that's the great thing about running. The better runners. Look at Kipchoge. All right, now he's arguably coming, into the sunset of his career, but the later stages of his life is because he had the experience of running marathons hard, and that's why, again, you're going to get these young kids and whatnot, but a lot of this endurance based events and things like that, you get better at them the more you do them. It sounds obviously obvious, but it's true.
And for me, that's the fun of it. That's what it's all about for me. It's like the learning process. And what can I do better next time? What can I learn about myself? That's what it's all about. It's a great day out, and I enjoy it. Yeah. And it's great getting a medal, and it's great saying, that's another marathon I've done that I never thought I'd have done 5 or 6 years ago. But now it's got to the stage of, what can I learn about myself? What can I do to make things a little bit, either a little easier or improve, or make it a more enjoyable experience, perhaps get a little bit quicker and things like that. And you can tinker away at these things. And that's what it's all about.
And I would say that to anybody who's running Brighton or Paris this weekend, or London Landmarks, or, Prague, or whatever. Maybe that's your first half, whatever. Go into the event excited and ready to take on this amazing challenge. Be motivated to find out what you can do. And if it doesn't go your way, it doesn't go your way. But maintain a positive outlook. Start the day positively. When that anxiety kicks in and the nerves are there in your tummy, just accept that that's a normal, natural thing to do. And that's a good thing. But enjoy the process. Enjoy what you're about to do and have fun doing it. The best thing you could do over this race weekend is smile and laugh and enjoy what you're doing. Now, there will be times in which you're going to go, I just want to stop. But don't, maybe ease off the pace a little bit. Have a little walk for 30 seconds. Walk through the next aid station. Whatever it is, and then get going again. But whatever happens, you're going to learn so much from it that it will be a great result either way. So don't put yourself under any pressure. Wake up and say to yourself, I'm going to go and do something awesome today. I'm going to have the best time of my life. Yeah, I got around 26.2. I got around 13.1. But actually, who cares? Because there's people out there who can't do this. And I'm going to go and do that today. And I'm going to have the best time ever. I'm going to high five everybody. And I'm just going to have a great, great time. Have that mentality stand on the line. Don't fear it. Don't let that anxiety beat you. Turn it into a positive energy that will actually propel you to the finish line. Now, I'm just going to wish everybody good luck, okay, this weekend. If you're in Prague and you see Hayden, make sure you ask him to stand up. He probably is, but, just ask him to stand up. What are you laughing at? But make sure you say hello to him and everybody else that's out there. I'm going to be at the London Landmarks Half Marathon on Sunday. I'm going to be winning it for about 2 meters. Because then Tobe will overtake me, pull his calf muscle, and then I will overtake him again. Okay, so make sure you come and say hello to us. Or if you see us out on course, smile, wave. Don't be nasty and shout any abuse. We can send it to Tobe, I don't mind. If you're running any of these other events, again, just have some fun. Next week will be a pre-record. We're going to have some marathon tips for you because if anybody's doing Manchester or London, because we are in Manchester next week, okay? And we haven't got time to do a live show. Well, not time. We just can't be bothered. So that's why we're doing a pre-record for next week. So just have some fun doing that. Please renew your membership if you're not. If you haven't joined 40 Rounds Running Club, you can. It's free if you want to join as a social member or if affiliated, you can join as well. You can do that. If you are doing a marathon this weekend, next weekend, the following weekend, download my motivation 20 minutes for the mile 20. You'll absolutely love it. Wilco gave it a 9, which I thought was a bit tough.
It was very good.
There was a 10 on the comments and chats earlier. There's been a lot of love for that, apart from Wilco. We can only apologise to the Brighton Marathon. Admin didn't mean it. So if you want to complain about that, send it into, what's the email address, Wilco?
longrunshow@gmail.com. God, and it's been about 3 months since I've read that.
Right, we're off to do a pre-record. Say bye, team.
Bye.
Tobe, take us out. Good luck, everybody. Cowboy out.